to get into wholesaling, but you have a full-time job? Are you looking for a side hustle, a way to make extra money perhaps, or maybe a way to get out of the corporate life? If you are, you came to the right place because I did exactly that. My name is Lauren Hardy and I'm your wholesaling coach. I started wholesaling when I had a full-time job. I was a new mom. I had a 1.5-year-old and I also had a baby on the way. So my end goal was I wanted to quit that full-time job. I didn't just want a side hustle. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I did not want to have a boss anymore. I wanted to have more time freedom and more flexibility because being a mom was tough and I needed to be there, for my kids. My goal was to quit my full-time job within 1 year because I had just found out that I was pregnant with my daughter when I discovered real estate investing. So I knew I had 9 months and I had a 3-month maternity leave to figure that out. But I wanted to make sure I had a whole year's salary saved in the bank before I quit my job. I was terrified to not have a full-time job. My full-time job really was like crutches for me. I didn't want to let them go. I was, afraid to not be, tethered to a company, to employment, to a paycheck. It was very scary. So I wanted to make sure I had a full year salary in the bank before I made that move. Now, spoiler alert, I'm sure you've probably guessed I hit my goal within a year. I did do it. It took me an entire year. And in this video, I am going to give you, some tips that help me get to that stage from being tied to a full-time job to quitting. I'm going to talk about time management. I'm going to talk about where to find the time or how to find the time to work that side hustle while you're working full-time. I'm going to also discuss the discipline that it is going to take because believe me, it's going to take some discipline. So I'm going to have to motivate you a little bit to get you prepared for it. I'm going to share my opinion on the fastest way to get started in your wholesaling business. And I'm going to finish you off with how to stay motivated when you want to give up. So how do we find the time to work a side hustle? So last time I checked, we've got 24 hours in our day, right? And your full-time job, let's subtract 10 hours towards that. Maybe you work 8 hours, but you commute there and back. Maybe that takes you 30 minutes to an hour. And then you commute home, obviously. And that, takes you 30 minutes to an hour. So I'm going to say 10 hours of your day is dedicated to working your full-time job. Now, you've got 14 hours still from there, right? Simple math. Now, how long do you sleep typically? Let's just say 8 hours of sleep. If you're sleeping any less, maybe you should probably get more sleep, all right? Sleep's important. Let's say you sleep 8 hours. That leaves you with 6 hours left. That is 6 hours that you can work your side hustle. You have to find time in that 6 hours. Go and find 6 hours in your day. The 6 hours doesn't have to be consecutive, okay? It can be an hour or two in the morning. Maybe you get up earlier. It could be an hour in your lunch break. It could be 4 hours after work. Whatever it is, you need to find that time during the work week. Now, we're not even talking about weekends. You still have Saturday and Sunday where you don't have work. Maybe you work limited hours Monday through Friday, but you catch up on Saturdays or you catch up on Sundays. That's what I personally did. So for me, I worked an 8 to 5 schedule and I had about an hour commute both ways. So my hours kind of look like this. I would work my lunch break, which was a little over an hour. My company was not as strict about lunches. And I would work after work. I would even make some seller calls in the car because I would sit in a lot of traffic. The car was pretty stationary. I live in, Orange County, California. Traffic's insane. So I would make a lot of calls in the car as well. And anything that I couldn't get done, I would then finish up on the weekend. So it was common that you would see me at a Starbucks on a Sunday on my laptop. So let's talk about the discipline it's going to take. So you're hearing this right now and you're probably going, this sucks. Are you kidding me? Like, I have to work. Like, when am I going to watch The Wire? Well, unfortunately, you're not. You are going to have to tell yourself that this is going to be the year of suck. Okay. This is the year that you're just going to have to take it, do whatever it takes. You're going to have to let go of some of your free time, because what you do in this year is going to set you up for the rest of your life. Think about it. If you just really, really work really hard for 1 year, you could completely change the trajectory of your life. But if you don't, if you decide to stay in this corporate job and all you do is stay in that corporate job and you work your 8 hours, that's it for you. You are always going to have jobs. You are always going to be an employee. How are you going to be an entrepreneur? You're not. If you want to be an entrepreneur and you don't have the luxury of just quitting your job and being supported by like your trust fund or something, then you're going to have to do it as a side hustle for a while. And if that's the case, then you are going to have to find that 6 hours somewhere in your day, and you're going to have to give some things up. When I was in that season of my life, I gave up a lot of socializing. I didn't have a ton of friends, or I kept my friends, but I wasn't like going out with them very regularly. I would say I gave up socializing and I gave up television. I didn't watch any TV at all that year. And honestly, I don't look back going, oh man, I really like missed out on, episodes of like Girls. Like I don't look back and think about that. I don't care. I don't even remember. Do you remember the TV shows you watched 10 years ago? This was 10 years ago for me, right? You don't even remember it. So just give up a few things, knowing that it's just going to be a year that you're giving it up. And then, man, you get all that back, because now I've got time freedom. I actually work less hours than when I worked corporate, which is crazy to think. I work probably half as many hours and I make way more money. So if you want that for yourself, you've got to hunker down for a year at least and make that happen. Now, it's going to take a lot to get that discipline every single day. So what I like to say is dedicate at least 3 hours a day to 3 money-making activities. So as a wholesaler, my money-making activities is talking to new seller leads, making offers, and following up. If you do just those 3 things every day for 3 hours, you are absolutely going to close deals. But you'd be surprised how many people cannot even dedicate 3 hours to those 3 money-making activities. Instead, they'll take an hour and, configure their CRM or perfect their logo or do all these other things that don't make you any money. Stop doing that. Focus on the 3 things that make money in this business: is talking to sellers, making offers, and following up on those sellers with your offers. That's all you got to do to close deals. You do enough of that, you could quit your full-time job. So I just, that 6 hours I told you, really it's 3 hours of very, very hard work, but you still have 3 more hours that you could find and do stuff with. For me personally, I pretty much only worked about 3 hours a day. And if I was able to do that sort of Monday, say 6 days out of the week, I took maybe 1 day off, I was able to quit my job in a year. So I had somebody give me this explanation. It's kind of disgusting actually, but it's this whole eat a frog a day analogy that apparently I think they give this is like a military thing. The idea is that you have to eat 1 frog every day, right? To hit your goal. You got to eat 1 frog every single day, 7 days a week. And the frog that you don't eat today, then that means it's going to get pushed to tomorrow. And then tomorrow you're going to have to eat 2 frogs. And if you don't eat the frog the next day, now that those 2 frogs are going to get pushed to the next day. So now you got to eat 3 frogs. So let me tell you, right? You're already imagining in your head, like how disgusting if I don't eat all my frogs, if I don't keep up with my 1 frog a day, like at the end of the week, I'm going to have to eat 7 frogs. It sounds gross, right? That's the whole analogy. That's how this 3 hours a day works. If you don't do your 3 money-making activities for 3 hours every day and you save it to the weekend, your weekends are going to be terrible and you're really not going to do it. You're going to only do maybe 3 hours on that Sunday and that's it. So it takes discipline I know it sucks. Sorry, I don't have better news for you. You got to have some self-discipline. Anything that is worth getting, worth achieving is going to take some pain, okay? No pain, no gain. Sorry. So how do we stay motivated when there's so much pain, when this is so hard and it feels like, you've been doing this for months and you still haven't made any money, right? How do you stay motivated? So this is a lot of like mind work now. What I did in this situation, because I didn't actually get paid in real estate investing for 8 months. My first deal came after 4 months and I flipped the house. So it took about 4 to 5 months after that to flip it. So 8 or 9 months before I even made my first paycheck. So how did I stay motivated? Number one, listen to podcasts. Man, I would put a podcast anytime I could in the car and I would listen and I would just get inspired. You listen to a good podcast, it recharges your battery. So I made sure I did that every single day. Also, use mind work. Imagine yourself as a full-time wholesaler. What does that feel like? What does the morning feel like? What would be your morning routine? Imagine it. Actually picture yourself there and do that type of work every single day. I want you to become obsessive over it. Before you go to bed, I want you to envision yourself and what you want your life to be like. The more that you feed this to your brain, the more you're going to stay motivated to do the difficult activities it's going to take for you to accomplish that goal. It's crazy because I used to actually imagine myself being interviewed on those podcasts. So I would listen to podcasts like Wholesaling Inc, Bigger Pockets, and I said, gosh, one day, wouldn't that be so cool if one day I'm on that podcast? I just thought that would be the coolest thing, right? Craziest thing ever. I ended up being on those podcasts. The first one was Bigger Pockets. That was a huge deal for me. I was on Bigger Pockets many years ago. Huge, huge deal. Like I couldn't believe, I'm like, this is insane. Like I'm actually being interviewed on this podcast. And then, are you kidding me? I now host Wholesaling Inc. Not only have I been on Wholesaling Inc., I'm a host. I would have never believed that my life would go that direction when I was that, tired mom working a full-time job, pregnant at the time with a 1.5-year-old. Would have never, if you told me that, I would have said you're probably crazy. I would have never believed I'm actually a host of one of those podcasts, but I am now. Crazy, right? And it's because of my grit and my determination to see me there, to see myself being a full-time wholesaler and real estate investor. That's how I got there. So I want you to believe in yourself. This is a fact that if you try hard enough, you will get to this goal. You have to stay motivated. The biggest challenge for quitting your full-time job and doing your side hustle full-time really is going to be staying motivated and staying disciplined with your time. If you can stay motivated and keep with your discipline, keep doing your money-making activities every single day, you will get there, and you really do have to believe it. So hopefully I gave you something out of this video. Hopefully you now feel confident that you can do it too. Hey, if I was able to do it, you absolutely can. If you like this video, make sure you comment below and let me know what you think. And if you do want to learn more about wholesaling, check out my free wholesaling mini course at www.laurenhardyco.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.